Hello, everyone. Welcome. Okay, so everyone's kind of introducing themselves right now.
Awesome.
So,
I see it in the chat. Nice.
perfect. We'll just give a couple more minutes. I'll make sure no one's really lost here.
Wow. We have an excited chat. I'm excited.
Yeah. They're usually pretty good about keeping active and so forth in the chats. So
Amazing.
But okay, well, I'll let you. Do you want to kind of introduce yourself and Athelis and the Scribe, and then I'll just kind of be here to maybe answer questions or chime in here and there. So I'll let you
For
take
sure.
it from here.
For sure. Hey everyone. Nice to meet you all. I'm Jem. I've been working with Kara for the last few months. Essentially, I work at Athelis. It's a healthcare company, and one of our core products is a scribing software. Kara's team has been using it for the past few weeks, few months. And I'll let her talk about, I guess, her experience on that. But I'm one of the engineers and owners of the product. So I'm really excited to have the opportunity to share to you how this tool kind of works, how it'll integrate into your documentation workflow, and how I really believe it'll save you and your teams so much time, allowing you to get home quicker or even see more patients. So a bit about me there. I guess what I can do is, I think the best way to get everyone started, and then maybe afterwards, Kara can go over some of her own experiences using the tool, is I can start off with a demo of how this works. And throughout any point, I'll be following or trying my best to follow the chat. Feel free to ask me any questions as you have them. I've been working on this product for with Athelis for almost a year now. So I'm a great person to ask about, whether it's questions about the capabilities of the product, integrations, anything like that. Feel free to, Kara, as you see questions while I'm demoing, just throw them out there. Feel free to interrupt me and I can go at it like that. But without any further ado or further discussion there, we can dive right in. What I'm going to do is I will share my screen. Awesome. Let me go here. Let's go here. Let's close this. Awesome. So for those, I guess, not too familiar with how scribing works or how this technology kind of works, is what we've built, me and my team at Athelis have built, is essentially a way for you to automatically generate documentation just by simply allowing our extension to listen in to your encounter with your patient, whether that's you directly dictating to the extension or simply leaving us ambiently in the background during the recording. What our scribing software is able to do is automatically take that context in. And this isn't a dictation tool, it's really a note generation tool. There's other tools in the market where it'll dictate what you say, and you can be like subjective, yada, 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 objective, yada, yada, yada. But what we do is we either directly or ambiently listen to your conversation, and we're able to disseminate, okay, this is part of an objective section. This is part of a assessment section. This is part of a plan. Or even if you have custom templates, being able to figure out, okay, this should go in goals. This should go in home exercise therapy. Really, whatever you need, we're able to correctly create this perfect note for you simply by you just talking. So after your encounter is finished, you'll never have to really type your note from scratch. You'll have 99% of the note complete. You might have to make one or two small edits if you want to add something that wasn't said, but really automating and making your documentation process as fast as possible and as efficient as possible. So during that whole time I was talking, where Scribe actually lives is, it lives just up here. So one of the ways you can use Scribe is through a Chrome extension. We have Android and iOS apps too, so you can easily download it on your phone and go from there. But the main platform people use Scribe through is through the extension. So on any web page, what you can do is just simply click this. It'll load this. And the first thing you'll see, so we have different levels of integrations. One of those integrations is an appointments integration. So we're actually able to pull in your appointments from your EHR and show them here. From there, what you can do, let's not use the appointment flow, but what you can do is if there are no appointments or no integration, you can just go to record. What record lets you do is put in a patient name, and you can select any documentation type that you want. So for customers, what we can also do is create custom templates. So you're going to see a bunch of templates that I have here, whether it's our basic tried and true SOAP note or different evaluation forms, different specific templates that I've made for some of our existing customers. You can really create any template you want. So if there's a template in your EHR that you really want this Scribe output visualized as, we can intake that for you and we can automate that process for you. So I'll just stick with the tried and true SOAP note. What I'll do is I'll just do a quick sample recording, and then we can kind of see how this tool works and what the output looks like. So I'll start recording. I have a quick little note on my phone, so I'm just going to read that out real quick. Patient reports his overall his knee is doing better, his range of motion is better, but not fully healed yet. The patient has 25 degrees flexion in his left knee. He has increased pain. He has persistent quadricep tightness as well as patellar hypermobility. He has decreased overall quadricep strength as well as decreased overall range of motion. He's progressing as per his own exercise therapy. I'm planning to continue the protocol. So what that'll do is that will upload. And then what you'll see in the history tab is what we show you is the transcript that you just completed. We'll show you the clinical documentation. So in this case, the SOAP note that we generate, along with the ICD-10 and CPT codes that we think that might relate to this encounter. So while that generates, so here, the transcript already generated. This process is often very, very quick. So everything I said is fully depicted here. The transcription quality is best in class. We're really able to pick up on audio from very noisy, but also busy environments. And we're able to kind of really select the core speakers that are involved, so the loudest speakers, and we're able to remove most of the background noise. So at the end of the day, we're able to get a really, really clean transcript that is the basis for the clinical documentation. So now for the clinical documentation, essentially what we're able to do is generate exactly like you would expect your basic subjective objective assessment and plan, as you would expect. We talked about flexion in the left knee. I didn't necessarily say it was the objective, but we're able to correctly put that into the right section. The assessment, based on what I said, is there. And then the plan, as discussed, is also there too. So that's the basic SOAP note. One thing I also want to highlight is there's some stuff at the bottom here. So I have a problem list, I have the goals, and some other sections here. So I can explain kind of how those sections really came in. But what I want to show you is one of our most used features, which is customized formatting. So what this allows you to do is really make your notes your own. So what I added here are some rules that I like for my SOAP notes that I do. So I don't want it to really explain out the terminology. I want it in first person. I want physical therapy abbreviated as PT, physical therapist as PT. I want a numbered goals section. I want a numbered problem list section. So that's kind of why you saw those tabs there, is because I have some specific formatting that's more general, or that's more specific than the basic SOAP note, but it really allows me to make this note exactly like I want. So if for example, when you first use Scribe, you're like, hey, this SOAP note's great, but it's not exactly how I want my note, we can make it exactly how you would want your note through something like custom formatting. One really powerful part here too is I'll go back. At the end, what I wanted is writing a short email to the patient summarizing the chief complaint, functional goals assessment right at that 12th grade level, make it optimistic, and then sign the note, sincerely, Jem. So normally that's not there for a SOAP note, but because I added that, what you'll see here is Kara was the patient. So it says, "Dear Kara, hope this message finds you well. Want to make sure we go over the kind of complaints that we talked about. Goal is to continue improving your strength and flexibility in your quadriceps. And then sincerely, Jem." So really any process, whether it's post documentation that you want to automate, we can help you with that too. So really just automating parts of this clinical workflow. Other headers that I wanted to include, but that weren't relevant in this SOAP note was neuromuscular reeducation, therapeutic activities, and dry needling. I didn't talk about those, so the sections were empty. So really intelligently being able to fill out what should go where, and making this really a complete SOAP note. One really powerful tool we also have is the ability to regenerate these notes. So let's say I missed something, the patient forgot to mention it, or they said it after I stopped recording. What I can do is, let's say patient, or I can even do with audio. I could say patient has 73 degrees of rotation in his right elbow. So why that might be relevant to his knee pain, we may or may not know. But what that will do is essentially you can come back and we'll now regenerate this note with that new context. We're just making it super flexible in case you're moving between patients or there's some additional context you want to add. So that goes back into the pending state, and when that's done, that'll be updated. The last thing I can show is, like I said, our ability to support many templates. So if the custom formatting is meant to augment the basic SOAP note, but if you have a new note type that doesn't really fit SOAP, we can for sure make a custom format or make a template that better fits your needs, and have that as a tool to really create the documentation in the way that you want. So I'll just go back to SOAP note. That'll take another minute, but once that's done, everything here, the ICD-10s, the clinical docs will all be regenerated with that new context. We also have the ability, once this is done, to write back into many EHRs. So we can explore those kind of capabilities too. So EHR integrations are always also on the table. So that's a capability we also support. I'll stop there and we can, I'll stop sharing my screen for a second. I'll come back and I can help answer any questions anyone might have about any of that. Yeah, I'm a great person. Any question, there's no dumb questions. Happy to answer anything to help you, you all understand more.
Can you
Yes.
talk about how you can create a home exercise program as well as sending a letter to the doctor?
For sure. I'll just quickly address Heather's question. Yes, we can integrate with Hello Notes. Totally possible. There'll be no issues there. In terms of creating to your question, Kara, so we can essentially really anything that typically you do with the note, whether it's create some follow-up information for the patient or for the referring provider. You can say, like I showed in that example, create an email draft to the referring provider focused on these things, or create a home exercise therapy document with following these guidelines. And we'll take all that context from the note and make it, I'll take all that context from the note and put it into whatever document, whatever kind of template you want, and go from there. Erica, to your question, yes, it could be, we have tons of OT and pediatrics using our software. Any of the custom, for anything that you really want customized, like anything you're thinking of, we've supported a ton of those for those specialties. So we can definitely do that too. We can even, if you have something you want to test out, we can also do a live test for it too. So I can read that transcript again. We can change some of the custom rules, really whatever you want to try out. We can do that too. So we'll go over kind of next steps towards the end of the call of like how to download and all those stuff. So you can definitely try it for yourself and go from there. So to your question, Michelle, do we copy paste from the app into our EMR? So if we have an integration built out, which we definitely do build out and we have built out for many customers, then you don't have to copy paste. It will sync automatically back into your EHR. Without the integration, yes, it is a copy paste, but those are kind of, we support both of those options. So based on that, both are supported, yes. To your question, Kara, yes, it can create charts, it can create tables, and do really any math or calculations that you need it to. If I wanted, let's say, all of the objective measurements in a table categorized by X, Y, or Z, and then include, I don't know why, but maybe you want to sum up all of the rotation. Maybe you want to get you want to sum up the shoulder flexion with the left shoulder flexion with the right shoulder flexion. Maybe you have like a measurement that's like total shoulder flexion. You can definitely do that. That's also fully supported. And I think that's why at the end of the day, like the customized formatting is one of the most powerful tools that providers have, because everyone's notes are different, even one per specialty, two per practice, and even three per individual. So typically what we do is we create standardized templates for organizations, and then each individual provider will have their own kind of nuances that they want based on how they like doing their notes, and we can support all of that too. So it's totally possible, and really, really flexible in that way.
Yeah, I was messing around the other day for our lymphedema clients, because I don't know, is there any lymph CLTs in here? But when you're doing your measurements, and it's always a dream when you have someone there to take all the measurements. So I was just messing around and having it take the measurements, and then I was having them add it up, and then I was having them do the difference between the right and left and so forth. So that's a huge time saver. And then I was also thinking, even for like home modifications, like when we go in and do home safety assessments, if we could just have it recorded while we go in and do all the measurements, and have it record and see how that would write everything up. So
to your question, Heather, we have some integration already with HelloNote. Like it's not something new we're building. So typically what the process is like is we can, I guess, depending on your instance, once you become a customer, then we have like a rollout plan of how the integration is going to work and kind of like a timeline. Depending on the instance, things can change and the timeline can vary slightly, but we're already integrated with HelloNote in some capacity. Obviously, for your use case, we can, like if there's, the integration needs to be slightly different, we can customize it. But that's, yeah, that's a kind of a, yeah, that's a, we can get into that conversation later too. But we are already integrated with HelloNote, so it does work. But for your instance, it just might be slightly different. And typically, as you launch with Scribe, we configure that for you.
awesome. What other questions do you guys have? Or any other demos or things you want to see it do? See it do. It's like it's a little thing. You know what I mean? An evaluation. My therapists really like it for evaluation. So Jim, you can talk about that more, but.
What might be cool to do is, I don't know off the top, you obviously you're way better at this than me, Kara, but if you have if you want to test it out, like what I could do is just have it, so it's also on the phone. So I could just have somebody, or I guess, I don't know if the audience can speak. I don't think so.
Yeah, I can, we can have them speak.
Oh,
Anyone want to do a demo? So you can have it record your entire session, or you can speak into it.
Yeah. So depending on if, for example, if we want to do a SOAP note where, let's say Kara is the provider and I'm the patient, we can also do that too and see how it works in this like dynamic setting. That's also totally supported too. So you record your entire eval, or it will session and it will complete your, exactly, Heather. Yeah. So, great questions, Heather. So yeah, so what our technology is able to do is we'll pick out what's actually medically important. So if you're talking with your patient about the Super Bowl or their weekend, unless it's medically important that they went to the Super Bowl or what they did on the weekend, we won't include in the note. But anything related to it, so we have that's kind of what the templates can really do. It's like in our basic SOAP template, we know what should go in a subjective objective assessment of plan for 95% of encounters. Obviously, there might be some things that we typically may not include, but that's kind of how through custom formatting or templates, you can get it to include exactly what you want. So we're able to determine what's actually medically relevant, only include that information, and not include any information that isn't. So that's like honestly really important, because that's what kind of differentiates the tool from other like dictation tools. Is it picks up everything, but it chooses wisely based on the context what to actually include. So unless I'm drinking a cup of wine every day is medically relevant, because it could be maybe, but typically won't include that. But if it's medically relevant and you're maybe talking about their alcoholism issues, then maybe that might go in. So there are nuances there, but generally it's able to detect all that fun stuff. I think the next question was Christine's. I have a specific note for early intervention that requires 5 components. How would I request a specific template for that? Yes. So during your trial, what we can do is set up a specific template. So what that process typically looks like is you just send us, whether it's a blank PDF or just a description of your template, like, hey, my template has these 5 headers, and this is what I expect in each section. We can turn it around same day, and then we can have you using it literally same day, testing it out. So you can contact, I'll share my information in the chat, obviously, and then you can email me, and then as part of the trial, I can help get everyone set up with this.
I was trying to get Christine to pull you in and we would do a trial note with your 5 components, but.
We need a bit of time to create the template, but I guess it depends how unique it is to a SOAP note.
Yeah, I'm just wondering what 5 components she has, or to kind of just run through it.
Awesome. Ethan, for Latasha, how long is the free trial period? Do we pay per month, per note? Good question. So the free trial period is typically a week. We can extend it like another week or 2. I think specifically as members of Kara's network and community, that's part of this partnership that we're working on. So we can definitely extend it a bit. And it's a per month per provider cost. So you can use it as many times as you want in that time span. Once you so during the trial, there's a limit of 20 scribes a day, but as a paying customer, there's unlimited scribes a day, access to all new features, all platforms, all that fun stuff. Great. Yes, Michelle, great question. So I guess the way we typically view pricing for this is, so for our tool, we've seen providers realistically save 1 to 2 hours a day. That comes up to about 10 hours per week, 40 hours a month, realistically, that we're seeing providers save just simply by using our tool. If you equate that to how much someone gets paid, or you pay a scribe, the cost kind of seems like a no-brainer. So I'll just throw that context in. Typically, our cost without any negations is $350 a month. For this community, for Kara's community, we brought that down to $250 a month. So that will, that's the kind of the base price per provider per month. So that's kind of how we thought about it. We really think, honestly, like we'll save you 5 to 10 hours a week simply in documentation. One of our providers, honestly, really awesome story. His daughter realized that he's not actually on his computer at home anymore, because he actually finishes his notes before he comes home from his practice. So he's able to get home an hour or 2 sooner every day. Doesn't have to type notes with his daughter while they watch TV or while they're hanging out. And she noticed that, and she said that to us, and kind of he told us that she said that to him, that it's like, is that why you're home now? Or you're not always on your computer at home? So you can get home sooner, or you can see patients, more patients, and essentially recoup that cost almost in a couple of days, let alone what you could do in a month. So that's kind of our pricing there. I'm happy to go more in depth. To Darcy's question, so we're fully HIPAA compliant. There's no issues there. Yes, Heather, I said 250 a month. Yeah, for this community specifically. Normally it's 350, but because we work very closely with Kara, we brought it down to 250 for this community. There is an additional cost per provider. Depending on the practice size, there are bulk discounts that we can provide. We can get into that information. That's more on a per site basis. That we can get into that too. But as there are more providers, once you reach certain milestones, that price does go down. Sorry, Darcy, I kind of skipped over the question, but yes, fully HIPAA compliant. There should be no issues there. Depending on the state that you operate in, there may be a legal obligation, like one party versus two party consent states, to notify the patient that they're being recorded. So just heads up there. It varies by state. I generally just recommend just letting them know, hey, I'm just using this tool to record us to save me some time on my notes afterwards. Are you okay with that? No provider, or as part of the paperwork, when people kind of come in, it could be included there too, before they sign. So typically, we have hundreds of providers using our software, and there should be no issues there. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, your example, 250 per session. If you're I guess depending if if you have 5 sessions a day and you're spending 1 to 2 hours on documentation a day, that means you're spending about 20-ish minutes on documentation a day. So if you can save, I guess, how much is 20 minutes of time worth, I guess, is the trade-off to see. So based on that, if it takes you that long for 20, 30 minutes to write a note, we can bring that down honestly to a couple minutes, and then hopefully the math makes sense. It makes sense for a lot of people. It may not make sense in all cases, but I really think it's a super powerful tool that hopefully you can all try and then make that decision for yourselves. Michelle, it can write it as beautifully as you need. We can work together once you're on the trial to really, I think one part of this process is we work really closely with our providers to get them set up really well. So usually the basic SOAP note gets it like 80% of the way there of what you need. Once you start adding custom formatting, like when I say this, it's not an exaggeration, but custom formatting can do almost anything you need it to do. So it's if you have a perfect note, if you're able to describe what that perfect note is, our customized formatting can make your note, this note, your perfect note. It could write it in any way you need. It could write it in Latin if you want. It could write it using the most beautiful adjectives. It could write it very concise and dry. It could really do, Heather, it can do goals. Really think about it as, treat this as like a human scribe in a way. If you can explain something to a human scribe on how to write a note, our scribe can also do it too. So it's if you wanted to tell your human scribe, hey, can you please add a goal section and make sure to fill that out? Our software can do it too. So tough to wrap your head around at first, but it's really, really powerful in that way. It's really awesome to see. I'm excited for people to try it and really use that customized formatting, play around with it. You'll be honestly really surprised about how flexible it is. I think that's the biggest feedback we often get is, it's wow, it actually did what I told it to, and it did it in the way that I wanted. Yes, great question, Heather. Let me touch on crystals first before I go to that. I use Point Care. It's multiple pages, multiple sections, check boxes. Sounds like Athelus is more simple for note stuff. So we can, that template can really be anything you need it to be. It could be you can mention in your template that it should be one of these 6 options, and we can return one of those options. If you want the template to return true or false, it can also return that too. How that works with the integration is a different question. That's kind of a bit more nuanced. But really, if there's any, so for context, some of the templates that we've worked with have about 100 headers. Mix of true and false, Boolean, that is the same thing. Drop down, radio buttons where you have to select one, multi-selects. Those are all totally possible. So it'll totally work with that. Yeah, some of the templates I've had to make, I made for some customers have been 100+ headers, just because it's very, very, just a very complex note. So we can totally support that too.
And like, so I don't know if you've had like, so Crystal, Point Care, is it Point Care Click? Is that the official? But some of these home health softwares that people use, like there's like 50 screens. Okay, that might be exaggerating, but I used to have to use this and it was a pain in the butt that you have to go through and like click all these different buttons and multiple screens, and it's more of check boxes. Versus like, say like Hello Note, where there's more bigger areas and things to put in. So like, yeah, I don't know for like a home health company. I mean, have you guys ever done it? I guess we've never really talked about like because we see clients in the home, but home health companies have way different software, and they have a lot of different like boxes where they have to go through and fill out the software. They get multiple choices to fill out and so forth.
Actually, I totally missed that it said home health. That one of those templates that we've actually built for a home health customer is the kind of Oasis Start of Care template.
Is it? Okay,
Yeah,
sweet.
so that is one of the templates that we built. So we're able to fill out the Oasis Start of Care template. Essentially, fill out all the fields you're talking about across multiple pages.
Awful.
So we can definitely do that, Crystal. I totally missed the home health. I got excited. I was like, oh, home health? Yeah, we work with a ton of home health practices too. And we've integrated that into their Access as the EHR that the other home health site uses. So I don't know if you're familiar with that, but we can probably fill.
Oh, that's what we use for our home health. For when so besides Hello Note, we also contract with another home care company, and we use Access. Interesting.
Oh, nice. We'll talk about that after
Yeah.
too.
Interesting. Okay.
Good to know. And then I think it was Heather. How do we get the trial? Yes. So what we can do is, so there'll be kind of, I'm going to drop two. Let me drop 2 links into our chat. So the first one is going to be a link to download the extension. So here, you can just create a free account, download it, and start using it, like essentially immediately. The second one is going to be just for this group. What we're going to do is, so I sent that first link in our chat. So that's the link to our Chrome web app, our Chrome extension. You can download it from there, make an account. You'll get a code to your email, and then if you log in with that, you can start trialing it right away. The second link I'll send is specifically for this group to be eligible for the special promotion for this community is going to be through our website. Is to essentially, if you put your contact information there, and at the bottom it'll just, I'll just show my screen real quick so I can just honestly show both of these just to make it really simple. So this is the first link I sent. It's just our Chrome extension. You can there'll be a button here, add to Chrome, immediately put it up here, and you can start using Scribe immediately. The second one is to be eligible for the discounted $350 to $250 per month per provider for your practice. You just need to fill out this form, and then when you say where did you hear about us, if you just put Kara's name, that'll be good. And then so this will be for the rest of the week. As long as you fill this out by next Tuesday, you'll be eligible, and you can still continue your trial. It's not binding that you need to sign up in the week or become a paid user during the week, but just across the next week, if you fill this out and put Kara, you'll be forever have the opportunity to get this discounted price for this community. So that's kind of the instructions there to get using it. So just those two links are kind of all you'll need. And what I'll also do is I'll drop my email in the chat. We'll have a once you sign up through that second link and put Kara's name, you'll have a dedicated person reach out and help you get onboarded specifically for your trial. So you'll have that support there. But also in the meantime, if you just have a quick question or want to talk with me because you like my presentation and you like me sharing and we think I'm a cool person, you can just email me there, and then I can also help answer any questions any of you might have. So I'm always happy to help. So don't hesitate if you have a question. I think Heather had a question about standardized tests. Could you give interpretations based on assessment results? Yes, it can. Typically, we can have. Typically, you can have it. So by default, it won't give essentially its own assessment because we trust the provider to do that most of the time. But if that's something you want, we can also add that to in your customized formatting. Like, please suggest the assessment based on the section. We can do that too. But just by default, it's not something we do because typically the provider is the one providing the assessment. But that's definitely also possible. Cool. And also I'll throw in, this tool also supports 50+ languages. So if you're a Spanish speaking provider or your patient is Spanish speaking, if there's multiple languages actually being dictated, we'll take essentially 50+ languages and then convert that all into one English SOAP note. So I know one provider we worked with, he's like, I'll work with you guys if you can understand my Chinglish. So essentially, he's a Chinese provider who speaks Mandarin to his patients sometimes, but mostly English, but most of his patient base is Mandarin. So sometimes they'll speak English, they'll throw in some Mandarin there. We're able to translate both of those. Well, I guess translate the Mandarin into English and create an English SOAP note with all the English and Mandarin context. So obviously same is true for Spanish and any other, I would say 50 most popular languages we support. So that's also another cool functionality too. Awesome. Anyone else have any other questions? Apple Watch. Yes, we have a prototype on the Apple Watch. The one main thing about the Apple Watch is sometimes if the recordings tend to get long, the Apple Watch's hardware isn't always the best to be able to store those long audio recordings. So we do have a prototype for the Apple Watch. It's actually in the works. But for now, it's mostly through web Chrome. So it's not necessarily only through Chrome. It'll work on Edge and Chrome or any Chromium-based browsers, the technical term. Some other more niche browsers are Chromium-based, so they might work there. But also one cool part is it'll work on iOS and it'll also work on iPad. So if you walk around with an iPad or maybe a Samsung tablet or Android tablet, anything along those lines, Scribe also works on that too. So not necessarily Apple Watch just yet, but all their platforms works really, really well. Yes.
Is it good to go on Apple and Android?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Works. Yeah, we have a ton of users using iPad because it's really flexible. Just leave it there, record, easier to carry around than a big clunky laptop. So that's definitely works on iPad. Yeah. Just some of the restrictions are just make sure you don't leave the app and the app's online. So you just might need to make sure you're turn off your the ability for your iPad to go to sleep while Scribe is running. But if that holds true, it'll record the whole thing, and then once you're done, you can just click stop and give it a minute or two, depending on the length of the recording, and your documentation will be 99% ready to go.
Any other questions or anything else, you guys? Oh, what about, does it need to have for a connection?
Heather, you have honestly such great questions. These are all things we are working on or have worked on. So right now it does need to have a decently stable internet connection. We're actually working on an offline mode right now. That'll be live in the upcoming weeks. So essentially what you'll be able to do is record offline, and then once you have access to internet, you can upload those files and then they'll automatically get processed. So right now, yes, we do recommend a good internet connection, but in the coming weeks, we'll be able to support fully offline mode. So that's on the roadmap. So I'm glad we already started building it before this call, so I can actually say that. Awesome. So I guess if there's no more questions, or nothing's coming to mind right now, the instructions on how to download, where to make sure you register, like essentially a week by a week today, make sure to put Kara's name as how you heard about us, and you'll be eligible for the discounted price. Other than that, feel free to download, use it, email me if you have questions, and I'll always be available. So don't hesitate to email if you have any questions, can't get something working, or need someone to bounce ideas off of for customized formatting or anything like that. Feel free to email me. I'm always happy to help.
Perfect. Any other questions you guys have?
So we'll hold, as long as you, at least for your question, Darcy, just register and just put Kara's name there. As long as you do that this week, we'll hold your discounted price. Let's, I don't know, we can say for like the next year or something.
Angela,
So
I can get it sent out to you. I'll
Mhm.
post it on our YouTube channel as well, so.
Awesome. So yeah, Darcy, as long as you just register there and put Kara's name down by this time next week, you'll be eligible, I'll just say, for like the next year to get this discounted pricing. So even if you're not ready for it now, we'll get you set up, you can try it out, and then if it doesn't make sense right now, we'll keep that promise for this pricing for this community for the next, let's say, year, and then probably do this, maybe honestly, if you guys if a lot of people use this tool, really enjoy it, maybe we can even do this in a couple months again or something, to see if we can get more people out. So that is fair, Darcy. Yeah. Our tech is honestly very lightweight and simple, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. Like, I think just if you do put your name down, someone will reach out to you to just show you kind of what I showed you and help set up some of those custom templates. Really, after like 15 minutes of using this, you kind of become a pro. Our kind of main philosophy has been like, healthcare software is so clunky, hard to use, makes everything hard. We really pride ourselves in our, I guess, usability and simple design. You really just, like, I guess I pull this up, but all you really have to do is just press start recording. It'll start recording. I can say whatever I need. Patient has come in with right shoulder pain. I recommend home exercise therapy, lateral raises, 10 sets of 5 pounds, and then I'll see them in a week. Stop. It uploads, and it's done, and you're back to your next note. So it's really meant to be simple. So I wouldn't say that should be a barrier for you. And hopefully it'll make it so your Hello Note goes a bit smoother, because if we can integrate too, it'll make the Hello Note experience a little better too. So we can set that up too. How soon after ordering will it be received? I'm not sure. Oh, recording. I think you mean recording. Maybe I'm mistaken. Olga, let me know. But after recording, typically, so it depends on the recording length. One really cool part is you can record up to about 2 to 3 hours. Hopefully none of your, it probably isn't that long if it's a 3-hour recording, but up to like 2-3 hours we can fully support. So those will take longer if it is a longer recording, but we can typically support that. Usually it's anywhere between like 1 to 2 minutes. If it's over like an hour, it might be like 3 to 4 minutes end to end, but it's often very, very quick. And you click stop and it should be there hopefully in a minute or two. So. Awesome. So last call, any final questions? If not, really appreciate all of you coming out today. It was great to, I'm getting the app question. Yes, Heather.
I'm just gonna try this out tonight.
Wait, did you say question because there's a, yes. So if you go to your email, you should get a password and then you can just log in with that. It'll be a kind of long code, but once you put that in, there you go. Yeah.
And you can use this for like meetings and stuff too, right? Not just notes. Did we mention that?
Yes, great point. So we have a meeting note, like maybe I'll just show you from my phone, but we have a meeting note template too. So really, like if you're doing a marketing meeting or some Medicare meeting or compliance meeting with your team, you can have this record. Yes, like Otter, but you don't have to pay for Otter. You can just use us. It's all included as part of the service too. So
when we have our,
you can share with whoever you want. So
when
essentially,
we have our meetings, Otter, I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it blasts everyone that's involved in the meetings, like their emails and so forth. It's really kind of crazy how it does it.
yeah.
So yeah, pretty much everyone in TVB is tired of Otter because it shows up and it emails and it's crazy.
Yeah. So if you or your practice use any of those meeting recording softwares, honestly, with Scribe, even though that's not our main purpose, you can actually cut that cost and just use us. And then we'll handle scribing, we'll handle meetings, really anything you need. So that's also something that's fully available. One also similar product that we have that is also available is we also have imagine Scribe, but instead of audio being the input, you can upload PDFs and essentially get summaries for those PDFs based on whatever you need. So Scribe has kind of two core products. One is this scribing product and one is an intake product. So if you, a lot of different groups, what they use that side of the product for is you can essentially upload any document. And then again, with a predefined template, we can parse up to 200-page PDFs and answer questions and extract the information from that too. So pretty similar to Scribe in that way. It's kind of an adjacent product that we have that we've been working on that we launched a couple weeks ago. That's also super, super powerful. So little adjacent there, but if there's interest for that, just let me know. I can connect you with the right people.
How about, is there, I guess I've never talked to you about this. Is there anything like for those of us that do home safety and home modifications when we go into a home, because we do measurements, we take pictures and so forth. Is there any way to create a report that will then upload pictures and so forth into it?
So upload pictures, not at the moment. You could use Scribe to actually generate the documentation you need for this like home safety thing. So if you're walking around, we can make a home safety template where you have the things you're looking for and it'll automatically create that template for you. Like just walk around with your phone, recording, taking pictures as you need. And then afterwards, you would have to put the pictures in. We can create the template. You can put it into whatever document you need. So the image part isn't supported, but definitely creating that template for the home safety inspection or whatever you need there is totally possible. Yes,
I
Michelle,
appreciate
late to the party because I was documenting, of course. If you had,
it.
hopefully with Scribe, that won't be an issue, but what was the price? So
Michelle is talking about, like those in our therapy business builder community versus the next level crew, so.
okay. So I think the way we talked about it, Car, is both, it's for all intents and purposes, it's for us, both groups will get the same discounted pricing from 350 to 250. So that's if you want the paid version. We do have a free trial, so you can sign up for that immediately and start using it. I'll send that information again in our chat, Michelle, in case you needed it. So I'll just highlight that again real quickly. So this is the link. If you go here and you scroll to the bottom, if you put Kara's name as, just fill out the quick form about like your name, your email, and how you heard about us, how you heard about us. And if you just say Kara as the reason you heard about us, you'll be eligible for the discounted pricing. Just make sure to fill that out by early next week, and you'll be eligible for that discounting. The second part is this link. So if you go here, it's not copying for me. If you go here, you can download the extension for free. You'll get a code to your email once you enter your email into the extension, and then copy that code into the extension and you'll be authenticated. So that's how you can sign up for the free trial. And then lastly, for you and for everyone else, if you need to email me about any of this, have questions about onboarding, this whole process, you can message me at gem@getathelus.com. I know it's spelled with a C. The C in my name is pronounced like a J. So fun fact there. Awesome. All right. You caught me last time, Heather, before we were about to hop off with the quick question period. Anyone else have any other questions, concerns, anything I can help with before as we wrap up today? I'll be available through email. Kara will also be available if you have questions for her. Don't hesitate to let us know. If you sign up through that athelus.com/scribe, someone will reach out to you to help get set up your free trial. Okay. So yeah, there's in your email, Heather, there should be a code that you get. And then if you just copy that code into where it says, so I guess quickly share my screen just to make it clear for everyone. Maybe do a quick little demo. So if you click log in, Heather, and put your email, I'll just share my screen just so I can make sure we're on the same page. So this is kind of like, so if you already created the account, which I assume you have if you got the email, so you can just go here, send, and then right here, you would copy it into this box. And then if I were going, so I can go to my email and copy. Let me share screen. Cool. So here, so this is the sign up page. I already have an account, and if you've made an account, you can just, so if not, you can click sign up. If you've made the account, you can go log in, send, and copy my code. So I would just put this in and then verify, and then now I'm in. So just like that. Hopefully that helped. Awesome. Cool. Well, yeah, feel free to try it out, Heather. If you have questions, let us know. For everyone, just make sure to put your email into the athelus.com/scribe and put Kara's name, and then you'll be eligible for the discounted pricing. If you are, and there's no commitment, you can put your name there. It doesn't mean you need to buy it. If you decide it's still not for you, that's just to make sure. Once you are in that ready to buy it, where do I put my name? Are you trying to on athelus.com/scribe? Michelle, if you just scroll down to the bottom of the page, there'll be a section that says contact an expert today. Just fill out that. It's like 5, 6 small fields. And then in the where did you hear about us section, just put Kara's name, and then that should make sure you get that discounted pricing if you do decide to move forward. So non-committal, if you put your name down, you're not paying anything. That's just so we know you guys came from Kara, and we can give you that discounted pricing. Awesome. Did you figure it out, Michelle? Does that make sense? I'm trying and crying. Oh no. Where? Okay, got it. Awesome. Good, good. Awesome.
I can help
Well,
them too. We have a meeting tomorrow, so.
okay, yeah. Amazing. Awesome. Well, thank you all so much for coming. You've been all amazing participants. I'm glad you guys are excited about this. I think really like the providers that use us, this, like, it's not an exaggeration when I say, like, I know this will save you 1 to 2 hours a day in terms of documentation time. For some providers, it's a lot more. I just say that conservatively. And I think really, really, like, give it a try. You'll be honestly, hopefully impressed by what it can do. It's very flexible. If it doesn't work the first time in the way that you exactly want, please play around with the custom formatting. It's really just, it's super powerful tool to make these notes exactly as you want. So whether you want extra fields that aren't in the basic SOAP note, or you want a completely new template that doesn't even match SOAP. So that's for the template section. If you hop on a call with someone through the FL, if you put your name, someone will reach out through the FLS.com/scribe link, where you put your name down, and they'll help create a template for you. So that's kind of why I recommend that too, also as an option. They'll hop on a call with you. They'll help create a template for you, just so you can really test your template to make sure it works exactly as you need to. We're just at time, so we won't hold anyone here any longer than they need to or want to. But you have my information. Obviously, you have Kara's information. The links are there, and hopefully happy scribing, and hopefully we'll talk soon.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys. We'll talk to you later. Thank you so
Really,
much.
really well. Bye.
Talk
Bye,
to you later.
everyone.
Bye-bye.